cats and kittens, boys and girls around the world. Here we go. It's Prog Stream Sunday. I'm here with you today, and hopefully we're going to do this going forward on Sundays. We shall see. But of course, as soon as I was just about ready to hit that record button, buddy, I looked over and guess who's doing a live stream starting at the exact same time as us? Yeah, it's the great Daily Doug. Yeah, so we're going up against him and his 300,000 subscribers or whatever he's got going on there, but that's okay. The last live stream we did, I think the most people we had watching at any given time was like 38. So, I felt a little bit discouraged about that. And then like an hour later, I checked and we had like 800 views. I think it's at like 1.2 thousand already. So we're going to be just fine. And, I am going to shoot a link out here. So get ready. We might have a guest coming up here in just a second, but first of all, I wanted to give a big, giant shout out to Naomi at 365 Days of Prog, just hitting 1,000 subscribers on her channel, and rightly so. All the hard work that she's been doing, all last year, doing one review every day for 365 days. It's insane. So that Roger Dean video she posted a couple of days ago put her over the top, and rightly so. That was a great, great piece of work. Hey, we got Zeb in the house, everybody. That's fantastic. Wizardo's here. Steve's here. Of course, Jeff Shilka is in the house. You know how that works. Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. Yeah. R.I.P. to Jimmy Buffett. Just, want to say off the bat, I actually met this guy, man, a couple of different times. The story was my dad retired. We moved on to a sailboat in the Caribbean, and we met up with Jimmy Buffett a couple of times in the Virgin Islands. My dad and him got along really good. And of course, my dad made me play guitar for him. I'm like 14 or 15. It's embarrassing. And, I'm making a bunch of mistakes. And I said to him, hey, man, I'm only 15. And he's like, dude, you can't wear a sign around your neck saying I'm only 15. Pardon the mistakes. School of hard knocks, man. Fast forward, a couple of months later, we met him again down the island chain. And then few years later, I'm managing a record store in Fort Myers, and we get him for an in-store appearance. So that was pretty cool. Jimmy Buffett, man, actually a dude that was exactly who he pretended to be. Hey, we're supposed to talk about Prog, but I just had to give a shout out to Jimmy Buffett and a shout out to Prog Radio. Oh boy, how about this? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. I don't know. Prog Radio is pretty awesome. Dude over there that does the programming, Kevin, he and I have very, very similar taste. And he puts that thing out at really high resolution. So it sounds great. He's got the AI thing going on, but it's kind of cool. I like it a lot. And if you listen, you'll hear a couple of shout outs to the Prog Corner on the Prog Radio programming, the formatting. He's got shout outs in between tracks. It's actually really cool. I listen to it a lot, and he's not even paying me to say it. Nobody pays me, man. You would think that somebody at some point would say, man, this guy, he actually has a bit of an audience. Hey, let's sweeten the pot a little bit, right? It's Sunday Fun Day. So it is the first Sunday before the NFL starts. So yeah, I thought it'd be a really good idea to kick off the Sunday Prog stream the week before the NFL, before, I got to compete against regular church on Sunday already. I don't want to have to compete against the church of the NFL also. So I wanted to get a little bit of momentum going. And wouldn't you know it, the Daily Doug has to come in and steal all my thunder, buddy. That just ain't right, but that's okay. We love him. Ed Zero's here. And the great Ed is also here. St. Louis Ed. Mark Osborne, thanks for showing up. You know, something else cool happened over the last week before we start talking about some prog rock and whatnot. Oh, Juniper Green. Oh, what? Box set from those guys. That is awesome. I only know the first album and I'm a huge fan. So, yeah, I would love to hear that. That sounds very cool, Zeb. Yeah, we just hit 500,000 views a couple of days ago, which kind of blows my mind because, you know, we've only been doing this now. What is it? 20 months since the Prog Corner started. And it was, you know, just me, you know, being scared of the camera, just talking real, you know, boring, like in like a monotone. I don't know why anyone would ever want to watch those videos, but they still do to this day. And for some reason, you guys have been watching me, and I do appreciate that. There's an audience for the prog rock, and if I'm going to be the guy that's got to go out front and be the face of the whole thing, so that this turnaround can be complete. There's definitely been a renaissance in prog rock. I did an episode about prog on YouTube, and I do believe that obviously the internet's a big part of it, but YouTube specifically is a huge part of it, man. Mark Gray in the house, welcome to you. Yeah, Bella Lagrisi, thank you for being here. Central Virginia, good place, man. I'm here in the boonies of Ohio, as you guys probably know, a million miles from anything. It's so rough here, man. The only place within a 40-mile radius of where I live to buy vinyl is my local Walmart. So I do end up with quite a bit of Walmart vinyl. It does come home with me. Welcome to Wayne from A Pocket Full of Heap. Awesome channel. Zeb has got a great channel. Check him out. I know I'm preaching at the choir here. You know, we got a little community here. Hopefully everybody kind of knows what time it is with the people here. And that's what we want, interaction, the spirit of a community. Prog is such a niche thing that we kind of got to band together, man, and do this thing and build it so that we can dominate the world like we used to once upon a time. Man must have a dream, does he not? Hey, we're also honored, like about 7 days ago, whatever, with an appearance on the Sea of Tranquility, which was just awesome. You know, Pete Pardo, such a great guy, such a knowledgeable guy, not just about prog. That's the thing, man. His depth of knowledge is just incredible about just so many different genres. That being able to sit down and talk about prog with him was really cool. Hopefully we'll be doing it again soon, you know, but the whole thing, I came away from it feeling a little bit kind of dirty and wrong. And like, you know, because let's face it, it was not so subtle. It was not so, you know, covert plea to him when I put out my Prog on YouTube video. And, you know, wouldn't you have it, Sea of Tranquility was at #1. And the, again, not so subtle plea to be on the show with him. But, you know, it's all right. It worked out fine. No hard feelings. We also did a little thing with Jim Newstead. What a great guy. Love his channel. Just fantastic. You know, we've been playing around. Hey, there's somebody named Sticks1231 in the house. Hey, from Scotland and love Sticks. That is cool. That is good. Because I talk to a lot of people from Europe and the UK in particular. And you mentioned Sticks, and either they don't even know who you're talking about, or they're like, those guys aren't prog. There's no way. Of course they're prog, man. Of course they are. Manuel is here in the house. Yeah. I guess that is my strength. I'm not a subtle guy. We got a fight on our hands. That trespass is better than nursery crime. Yeah, and boxing gloves are going to be coming off here in a minute. But yeah, I did put some merch up on the channel a couple of days ago. You know, when you're on the home screen or whatever, and you see it says all different stuff. It says like store or something, and you go on there and you click on it or something and you buy some product and I'm supposed to get some money or something. I don't know, but, you know, it's cool because nowhere on there does it say the Prog Corner. So I'm not, you know, really pimping myself out. I'm only pimping out the tagline, man. Of course, I'm not a dummy. I know that actually might have some legs, whereas this mug right here, probably not as much. So, I've had a couple of people say, I love the idea of doing a Sunday prog stream. But yeah, you got to think of a name for it. I don't know, man. I think Sunday prog stream just kind of covers it. I don't think there's really any question about what that might be. Monsieur Lehigh is here from Germany, and what's up with Burger Show asking when I'm going to be doing the Pink Floyd ranking. And yeah, you are absolutely right. That's the last biggie, right? When I started the channel, I was cognizant of the idea that I didn't really want to do everything all at once, because I figured I could leave some of the big content for maybe later on when I was maybe a little bit better at YouTube and maybe didn't look like a deer in headlights scared all the time. So Maddie 34 in the house, how you doing? Yeah, so I did leave some of the big ones off. As you noticed, recently just did Zappa, the Moody Blues, Jethro Tull, not by accident. I've been trying to time it all out a little bit. So, and that's for me too, because I didn't want to get all the low hanging fruit out of the way so fast that after a year or two, I was like, okay, yeah, what do I do now? So, it does help that my cadence is such that, unlike some of these channels, I'm not putting out like 2-3 videos a day. I'm doing 2 or 3 videos a week. So that certainly helps. We got Jordi Planas from Barcelona, Catalonia in the house. How are you? Yeah, Bella, Second Brightest Star. Fantastic album. I love Big Big Train. That's right. And be some smash that like button. Smash something, man. I'm going crazy here. Something's going on here. But yeah, so the Pink Floyd rankings, a port from Central Indiana, my brother. Yes, Midwest Ohio. You know it. Midwest Indiana. Oh, the Midwest got to stick together. You know what I'm talking about here. It's college football time. It's Big Ten time. Even though I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, I live amongst Buckeye fans, so I have to deal with the nightmare of the 2002 national championship game over and over in my head. But hey, I digress. Peter is here from sunny England. Yes, indeed. And it's Michael Nolan, the bottom line. Dude, we got like YouTube royalty in the house. How cool is that? Yeah, so the Pink Floyd ranking is coming up. That's going to be the next biggie of the big ranking episodes. And you guys know I like to do the ranking episodes because I love prog rock and I love to rank stuff. So, there'll be definitely more of the years. I think I stopped at 2011. So 2010 and 2009 will be next on the yearly rankings. And then I'll just rank anything I can think of. I see, 2 cars driving down the street. I'm going to rank those. I rank everything. We got Super Retro World from Canada in the house. And oh, wow. The Prog Dog is in the house. The great and powerful Dean Wolf is here. The Canes alum. Oh, no. NTF 59 was at that Fiesta Bowl game when Terry Porter threw that flag 15 seconds after the play was over, man. The Canes players are on the field. They're celebrating. We just won another national championship, man. It's unbelievable. Greatest college football dynasty. Oh, wait a second. There's a flag on the field now. I didn't talk for 3 days after that, my friend. For 3 days, I did not speak because of that Miami versus Ohio State game. Let's face it, Ohio State had us beat in the first half. We came back strong, but that's when, I was working retail. I was working in the mall. I was working at Bayside at the time at downtown Miami. And, within a day or two, all the Canes players are back in the store, keying it up and having a good old time. They couldn't have cared less whether they won or lost, dog. I hadn't spoken in 3 days. And that's when I realized, maybe my sports fandom is just getting a little bit out of control. And yeah, I don't really follow sports quite like I used to. But, it was right around that same time that Transatlantic was putting their first two albums out. So it's almost like I transferred some of that weird passion and that weird energy from sports fanaticism to prog fanaticism, if you will. Spitfire Callum, hello from Ohio. He's from England. He's joining us here. DBC loves my videos. Have I ever heard of the Great King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? Oh, yeah. Those guys are amazing. I love them. I love their microtonal stuff. I do like the metal thing that they've done a couple of metal albums. They've done just some crazy psych stuff. Very cool band. Favorite album, if you put a gun to my head, probably Changes from last year. They only put out like 5 albums last year. It's crazy what those guys do. Yeah. I'm gonna put a link up if anybody wants to join. Otherwise, we're just gonna talk here. Let's see if I can figure this out. See if I can put a link up there, boys and girls. Okay. Duh. Yeah, I think I just did it. There we go. But yeah, the Pink Floyd ranking, definitely the next biggie on the way. That's going to take me a couple of days to try to sort all that out. But, there has been such an absolute dirge of really, 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 really strong albums in 2023 so far. We need to look some more and find some more stuff. But I think we have found something really, really good. There's an Italian album that's just been released that to me is rivaling the best Italian albums of this modern era. There's been some really good ones too, man. Banco has put out 2 amazing albums recently. Trans-Siberiana, Orlando, Le Forme dell'Amor. I love that. Robert Vitelli's outfit, Ellesmere. Their 3rd album, Weird. Oh man, I just love this thing. La Maschera di Sera, CEI. This is Fabio Zaffetti, whatever his name is, his band. Logos, Sadako y Le Mille Gru de Carta, just amazing. But there's one that we're going to be talking about here. Let's see. I did the thumbnail already. Let's see. I'll pull it up on my phone. I want you to see this. I like this thumbnail. I think come on. Just do what you're told. Yeah, look at this. This is cool. Okay, this is the thumbnail. Oh, yeah. It's the new one from El Bacio della Medusa, The Kiss of Medusa. The album is called Emilia, and it just very well might be a 5-star review. We're going to see. It's really, really good. I'm excited to talk about it. Let's look at some of these comments here. I've heard someone, but I haven't heard the new one. Cardiac's absolutely big fan. Just incredible. Crazy, wacky, wild, a million miles a second. So many notes coming at you. So smart, so intelligent. Wizardo saw Steve Hackett. What a great show that must have been. Steve, my favorite Oldfield album. Yours is 5 Miles Out. I would have to say Omadon, but honestly, any of the first 4. I love Incantations. I love Hergest Ridge, and of course the great Tubular Bells. Everybody loves that. Appreciate you giving Utopia some love. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Todd Rundgren, Utopia, just love it. Very progressive dude. Even to this day, his later records still have little progressive elements in them, even if he's doing duets with Robin and stuff like that. Have you heard the 2 Roger Waters singles? I've only heard Money. It kind of made me not want to hear the rest, but I'll wait till the whole thing comes out for me to listen to any more before I say anything else. It didn't sound right to me, man. Spitfire Callum, my favorite Muse album. It's really close between Origin of Symmetry and Absolution. Those 2 to me are both absolutely perfect. Black Holes and Revelations is maybe just a little bit below, but oh man, what a band. I love it. Dave from the album review channels here. What's going on, sir? Oh, yeah, yeah. It's early on and I'm already sounding a little hoarse in the voice. That's all right. Have I heard the new Toe Hider? Which one, man? He's putting out like an EP every day. I guess this latest one from him is just one 18-minute long track. I have not heard it yet, but I've heard really, really good things about it. So I will be checking that out. But he's just putting out so much material, man. It's like, it's like being a fan of Guided by Voices. It's hard because there's just so much material that comes flying out. But yeah. So what else? I said that I lived, there in the middle of nowhere, man. There's just, my voice is always like that. So, it's on brand. It'll work. It's fine. But, it's so weird because like half of my vinyl is from Walmart. And so they had these and I could not buy them. Yeah, it's Kill Them All on, what is this? Jump in the Fire Engine Red vinyl. How could you pass that up? I love that album, by the way. My favorite Metallica, though, is the second album. And this is on Electric Blue vinyl. Of course, the great Ride the Lightning. Hey, wait a second. We're supposed to be talking about Prog. Why am I talking about Metallica? Okay, the third album's on Battery Brick vinyl. Okay, yeah, Master Puppets. Okay, fourth, And Justice for All. Dyer's Green vinyl, double album. I hope you can hear the bass guitar on the vinyl version of that because I never could. And of course, the black album, Some Blacker Marbled vinyl. This is called that. God bless Walmart and Walmart vinyl. It's such a pleasure to walk into my local Walmart and be able to buy that. So. So here we are, we're 22 minutes in. We're already ahead of the last live stream, although that one was just kind of thrown together and, there was really no forethought or anything about it. I just, hey, wait a second. That's kind of what I do. Oh, yeah. What? Zeb has not bought any of these this latest version of Robert Pollard's band. And, again, we're supposed to be talking about prog rock, but you're missing out. They're all fantastic. I'm a big fan, as you guys know. Yeah, Kill 'Em All was just so good. They were so young and drunk, and they were angry at the world. And I love the first two. Obviously, you like the first three. I like the first five to varying degrees. The first two are just to me perfect in every way. And Justice to All is pretty prog. Actually, and so is Master Puppets. They're pretty, they're pretty prog. But I haven't talked about. There's a few things I haven't talked about at all on this channel. I did a whole Radiohead ranking thing. And I never bothered to review this. Yeah, this is Tom and Johnny Light. For attracting attention, it's the smile. It's those two guys with some drummer from some other band. I forget the name. The name escapes me, but that's a great record, man. And I was gonna do a review of it when it came out, and it just never happened. And that happens a lot, I get inundated with albums I'm thinking about I want to review, and then somehow I never actually do. And that's horrible. There's been a few this year already, and 4 in particular that have come out that are just incredible. And I don't know if I'm even going to have time to review them. So I want to do a quick roll call for a couple of albums I really, really like. I mean, a lot that they deserve a whole bunch of attention, but I'm lazy. I'm a bum. This takes absolutely no work at all. What we're doing right here, I can just hit record and talk. No preparation necessary. So it's a sad reality that I never reviewed Hackberry's Breathing Space, what an incredible band from the Netherlands. What a great record. Just I'm digging it a lot. I'm never going to get around to reviewing it. It's kind of old already. It's been out like 7 months. So from Ireland, a band called M Opus, their third album, At the Mercy of Monaman or Monanan. I guess Monanan is some kind of like Irish sea demon or something like that. I don't know. But that record is just solid. It's strong. It's supposed to be 1972. I guess each of their albums picks a year in the golden era of prog and tries to emulate that sound. Just how successful they are with that concept is debatable. Zeb wants to know if I consider Bjork prog or prog related. Well, prog related is safe. You know, you can call her prog related and nobody's going to argue with that. So let's go with that. I think she's done some real proggy stuff. Michael Nolan is saying the more he listens to Mirror by Yes, the more it sounds like true. It is, man. It is. A Mirror to the Sky is a great, great album. It belongs in the Yes canon. And, you know, you could act. I'm a huge Yes guy. I'm a huge Steve Howe fan. And, you know, for people that were saying that this wasn't real Yes, you know, when you're putting out stuff like Heaven and Earth and even The Quest to a lesser extent, I kind of understand what you're saying because the music actually is supporting your ideas and your opinions there. Mirror to the Sky is like a big giant middle finger to those people saying, you know what? If you don't like this version of Yes, you're clearly not listening. You clearly never will listen. And like Prog Magazine said, maybe it's time to put the placards down and listen. You know, the no John, no Yes crowd. It gets old, man. It really does. I love John. I love Rick. I love Steve. I'd love them to be all together again. But, you know, these are grumpy old men. If they don't want to hang out together anymore, they're not going to hang out together anymore. And luckily, they've made just enough money over their long and illustrious careers that they don't really need to work with somebody they don't want to work with, you know? And I totally understand that, man. You know, there is no way I would ever go to work for somebody or someplace where I dreaded it ever again. Life is way too short for that. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Finch and Super Sister. You were talking about Dutch bands that are just absolutely amazing. Burger Show's talking about Islands by King Crimson being underrated. It is, man. I get it. I hated Islands for years. I didn't get it, didn't like it. Lizard, I got, which is weird. I knew it was a weird album, but I understood it. I didn't understand where Lizard was or Islands was coming from at all. Took me a long, long time. Another album that I want to review, I might actually review here soon because it's not that old. It's still pretty current, but I'm so super lazy, is the new Ring Van Mobius album, man. It's called The Commissioned Works Part 2, 6 Drops of Poison. And it's 12 pieces of real cool retro prog that takes the sounds of the 70s. You hear Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but you also hear Triumvirate and Vandergraaf Generator and a real healthy dose of Italian prog. Real cool album. I just don't know if I'm going to get around to it, and that kind of makes me sad. Yeah, Gong's talking about the new Gong album coming out soon. Yes, the third Kavis Tarobi fronted album by this version of Gong. Yeah, Gong ranking would be a lot of fun. Couple more I need to spend a little time with. You know the ones I'm talking about. And then you got the Splinters. And how do you rank them exactly? Do you include all the different versions? Every branch from the family tree? I don't know. Mother Gong's cool too. All that stuff's cool. But, besides a new Gong coming out, man, how about the new Steven Wilson, right? I mean, you've got a new Steven Wilson album coming up. They had the little professional listenings that our great buddy Jim Newstead was allowed to go to and become totally immersed in the new Steven Wilson Harmony Codex experience or whatever. hanging out with the likes of Jerry from Prog Magazine and John Mitchell and Nick Beggs and Neve the Prog Nerd, man. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. But I'm actually looking forward to the new Steven Wilson. I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's going to be terrible, but I'm going to reserve judgment. The Flower Kings album drops next week. I just reviewed it. I like it. It's really good. But there's been a couple other things. The Moon Safari just announced their new album, Himmelbacken Volume 2. It's been way too long. Really excited about that. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. All those listening sessions for the Harmony Codex, I think is a good way to go. And it's obviously smart that Steven Wilson's people are picking some YouTubers and stuff like that to go to that. It's encouraging. It makes my little heart go, pitter patter, that I know some people that were actually there. How cool is that? Who else? The great Yordzio. Yeah, they got a new album coming out next month. I love them, so I'm excited about that. But probably the one thing that I'm the most confused about how to put my arms around and handle as a reviewer or part-time reviewer such as it is what's going on in Australia right now with United Progressive Fraternity, Unitopia, Southern Empire, and then you also have a Chester Thompson solo album, all these different things that all kind of weave into each other with a lot of the same musicians and a lot of the same flavors. Australian prog, just incredible. I like the new United Progressive Fraternity has like a list of like 60 different prog luminaries on there. It's really awesome. But then there's like a third disc that's got a whole other hour. So that's I just invested a bunch of time learning 2 hours of this, but there's a whole other hour. And then you got the Unitopia album. Yeah, they had broken up. So they kind of broke up into two, one being United Progressive Fraternity, the other being Southern Empire. Sean Timms and Mark Trueck, I guess, weren't getting along. Well, I guess they're getting along now. And they enlisted Stephen Unruh to play violin on the album. And then you also get this incredible rhythm section, Alfonso Johnson and Chester Thompson. What kind of rhythm section is that, man? Is this Weather Report 1978 or what? That's crazy. Steve is talking about that Broadsword box set. Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited about that. A lot of people, I had no idea how beloved that album was, because I was working in a record store when that thing came out, and me and my friends weren't like super crazy about it. So yeah. But then, not only that, but now you got Southern Empire. They had announced the third album, and then they quietly weren't saying anything about it for a long, long time. And then you realize why. They lost their singer. They bring a new singer from Australia's Got Talent, or I don't know, their version of America's Got Talent. I don't know, The Voice or something like that. Some cat from there. And so they bring him on, and they drop their third album. And so all this Australian prog greatness happening right now. And I don't even know how to talk about it. It's almost like too much. It's almost like my head's like, kind of, I think it's going to explode, actually. And then finally, the last album that I just don't know if I'm going to get around to reviewing, and it kind of brings a little tear to the old eyeball, and that is Sweden's Agusa. They just dropped Prima Materia like 2-3 weeks ago. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit longer than that. I don't know, but real good, super strong, super solid. I'm really digging it. And actually, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I thought their last album was probably their best album, in Arnold Varlins or something like that. But this one here, man, the more I listen to it, is just ridiculous. I am absolutely loving it. And then you had an announcement from Frost. Yeah. Frost is working on a new album, and that's on top of Moon Safari making some noise about finishing up their new album. Echolin's been talking about recording for a while. Make it a short Prog Corner, 1 minute reviews. That's probably. Oh, when am I going to do an interview with Tuzmark? Yeah. You see, and Jim Newstead is here too. Jim, yes, we salute you and your greatness. I hope you had fun, with Stephen Wilson and, hanging out with, all the intelligentsia, the Prog luminaries. All those little people are just waiting for your latest video so you can tell us all about it. Yeah, new Ozark's good call, Steve. And I was remiss in running down some of the newer things on the horizon. Pattern Seeking Animals. Yeah, man. I'm a huge fan, obviously, big Spock's beard guy, but I think John Baygold has developed into one of the better songwriters alive today. I love all 3 Pattern Seeking Animals albums. And honestly, I knew he'd been writing with them, and all throughout their, the first album Without Neil had a lot of him and Stan Azimuth, but it wasn't until the second album Without Neil and Nick. Now you had a much higher presence with that. What was that? The Oblivion Particle. Much higher presence of Stan and John Baygold on those records. Their songwriting presence kind of took over, and that's what I really noticed, man. Who's this John Baygold guy, and why do I love this Bennett Built a Time Machine song so much? And that's when I realized this guy's amazing. Really paying attention ever since. And when Pattern Seeking Animals came out, come on, Ted Leonard, just incredible. Hearing him actually being allowed to, do a couple songs, but also his guitar playing, so underrated. What a great band. Dave Miros. Incredible. And the great Jimmy Keegan. He needs to sing more. I love his voice. Rumor XTC might play a show in the UK. Is it with Andy, Colin, Dave, and Terry? We saw XTC in Atlanta. They were fantastic. I heard they were putting on some good shows, seen some stuff on YouTube. Yeah, the rumors are out there. And anytime Andy kind of pops up from hibernation, we've seen him doing a couple of interviews of late after his exodus from Twitter. He got in some trouble for sounding just a little too non-PC for a lot of people's taste, saying some things that maybe crossed the line a little bit, and he got canceled off of Twitter. But he's kind of been popping up here and there lately. And then he did that EP with the 3 Clubmen, or the Clubmen 3 or something like that. That was pretty cool. So anytime Andy starts getting a little bit more visible, you just got to start asking the question, is XTC ready to come back? And that would be amazing. But, at the end of the day, everybody's getting older. How much do we really need to see some of these old people putting new material out? It's just, we get so caught up in, the people that we love from yesteryear. And I get it, nostalgia is a big part of why the Prog Corner has got 5,580 subscribers. Not that, I keep track of that kind of stuff or anything, but there's been so much real great music. And I just talked earlier about an Italian album that I'm going to be reviewing next week that it very well might be one of the very rare 5 headphone reviews. But Italy's had a bunch of really good records come out of it this year so far. Stefanzo Panunzi put out something called Pages from the Sea. What a good record that has been. Very chill, laid back, kind of cinematic, soundscapey, but it's got Jocko Jaksic and Pat Bastellato from King Crimson. So that's kind of cool. Tri-Top put out Rise of Cassandra. Really cool mix between, classic symphonic prog and, some of the newer neo-prog sounds. Inner Prospect just put out Canvas 3, and that's Alessandro Di Benedetti's thing. The guy from Mad Crayon, just great. What did I just hear? Il Cerchio d'Oro, Pangia e le Tre Lune. Okay, I had only heard one album by these guys before. That was 2017's Ul Fuoco Soto la Cenere, which I thought was amazing. But wow, this one here, I think I just might have found one of my new favorite bands, Il Cerchio d'Oro. Real cool, man. Just amazing. These guys are led by Giuseppe and Gino Terribile. And the first time I seen that, I said terrible. So I'm thinking the Terrible Brothers, man. Gino and Giuseppe. We're bad boys, man. Now it's Terribile. Not nearly as much fun, man. Not nearly as much fun. You know, this Prog radio hat is a little small. I mean, look at this. See that? That's a big difference there. So anyway, we'll retire that for now. I'm starting to get a headache, man. Where I'm talking about Italian stuff because that's what I do. Yeah, another great Italian band is La Bocca della Verità. This is their second album, Unconnected. Their debut came out in 2016. Wow, this is a cool album too. Definitely should check it out. It's like if a bunch of these Italian boys all of a sudden sat down and had like a little transatlantic marathon, which is always a good idea. Everybody should have a transatlantic marathon. Okay, Zeb wants to know if I will ever rank the Bo Hansen albums. Yeah, you know, it's a small discography, so it'd be real easy to do. But, you know, the reason you do stuff like that is just an excuse to talk about an amazing artist. And obviously that's Bo Hansen, huge fan. How would I rank him off the top of my head? I don't know. The first four to me are unimpeachable. I just love Lord of the Rings. Magician's Hat is incredible. Attic Thoughts, Watership Down. Probably, you know, maybe Attic Thoughts, if I had to put a gun to my head, would be my favorite. But yeah, let me know if I'm interested in interviewing Jacob Holmlupo. Yeah, we know who he is. And, you know, Zeb, my whole thing is I'm so lazy, man. I mean, I will be setting up some interviews for sure. And I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I was hoping that this, you know, Prog Stream Sunday couldn't maybe dovetail or maybe, you know, double as a way for me to, you know, knock out some interviews. You know, people could come on here and do it and whatever. Anybody can come up on the screen that wants to come up here. We can talk about Prog or, you know, whatever, obviously. But Andreas from Wobbler and Chronicles of Father Robin, you know, he and I have been talking forever about you know, getting an interview set up. I'm just, you know, it's hard for me to put too much time in it right now because I have a little obsessive compulsive thing going on, and things can start taking over my life. So I got to try to find some balance, if you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Wondrous wants to know what I think of the great and terrible Griffin with the fugal horns and the croom horns and the bassoons and the crazy medieval and Renaissance instrumentation. I love it, man. I love the debut. What was that second one called? I can't. Oh man, it's slipping me. But I'm a big fan of their third album, Red Queen of Griffin 3. Treason was really good. Great band. What was the other one? Rain Dances. Yeah, I love them. Even their 2 reunion albums really aren't bad at all. Very cool. Yeah, 10 out of 10 on all the Bo albums. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, Renaissance, Monsieur Le High Renaissance is definitely on the list. I've got a little short list of bands that I want to do rankings of. I think Pink Floyd, probably the next big one. Renaissance for sure. Mike Oldfield. And who else is on that list? Alan Parsons also. So there's still a whole lot of slack left in this rope. There's still a lot of fight left in this dog. Let me tell you, we're not done yet here at the Prog Corner. You know, they can put me up against Daily Doug all day long. It's all right, man. I'll be poaching, because when you're watching that, a lot of times on the right-hand side, you can see other suggestions, and they figure, well, if you like watching live streams, maybe you'll like seeing this weirdo's live stream. So I'll be poaching off of him. It's all good. My announcement came out first. I think maybe salty that I didn't put him on my Prog on YouTube episode, but I'm sure he doesn't care about any of that. Why would he? How about Homunculus Rez's new album, man? L'Imperio dei Doppi Sensi, talking about yet another incredible album from Italy this year. It's just been insane. It really has been. But I look at the entire history of the channel, and I have done exactly one album review of an Italian band. I've spent a lot of time talking about Italian prog and, ranking albums and bands and, singing the praises of all the greats from yesteryear. But the only album I have ranked on this channel in the Italian prog subgenre, the RPI subgenre, is the last Banco del Motore Soccorso album, Orlando. And that's weird, man. I just realized that. And that must be corrected. And it will be corrected as we look at El Bacio della Medusa's fifth album next week. I showed you the thumbnail I already came up with. It's pretty cool. So those are some of the thoughts I had on some of the great Italian prog that's come out this year. Matt O'Fafner. All this prog talk is making me want to hear Brian Eno's Before and After Science. Oh my God. King's Lead's Hat. By This River with Cluster. Oh man, you're talking my language. Before and After Science is one of those albums that just, it might have, should have, probably could have been under consideration for my episode that I did with Pete Pardo over on Sea of Tranquility last week when we were talking about albums that change your life. That would most absolutely qualify, because when I heard Before and After Science, it just blew my mind. And it kind of still does. Phil Collins never sounded better. Just incredible. Peter Jones is saying Amarok's on top for me. It'd be real close to the top for me. I mentioned the first four, but throw Amarok in there too. It's incredible. Mr. Wonder saw PFM in 1974. Oh man, I've seen some videos on YouTube. I have not ranked the PFM albums. No, that hasn't happened yet. Cluster, Harmonia, Cluster, and Eno. Yeah, that's all great stuff. How about an interview with the great Carl Palmer? Ed, yeah, I know you love some Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. I actually did reach out to the Carl Palmer people, and shockingly enough, I haven't heard anything back. There are times in life where you just need a good reality check, and you just need, somebody to just get you kind of straight. Because honestly, at the beginning of this calendar year, 2023, I had some goals in place, and maybe I'm just a little sour on the whole interviewing thing, because one of my big goals was to try to go after some of the big names and, try to bag an elephant and, kind of live large, like Barry at Classic Album Review or something like that. But, but no, I got a whole bunch of crickets, man. And, and that's okay. That's okay. The reality is, let me know that the great Luca Zerman is here. Oh, my goodness gracious. Luca Zerman is here. Oh, in that case, then we got to talk a little bit more about this album right here. Forget about it. I went to Columbus yesterday with the wife. We were going to go get ourselves some Thai food. And it turns out that the Thai restaurant we really, really wanted to go to was carry out only now. Post pandemic, is nowhere on any of their socials or on their website. So I was really not happy at all, to say the least. And yeah, so I decided I needed something. I needed something to put me in a good mood. Look at the cool clear vinyl on this, man. This is Logos. This is Sadako. Il Mil Gru de Carta. Oh man, and Luca Zerman is the singer. I'm assuming he helps write a lot of this stuff too. But they sell the CD for this at the in Hiroshima at the Museum of Peace there at Ground Zero. You can actually buy a copy of this, and I've heard they actually play it in the gift shop. This album here, my friend. If Ed, this is for you, Ed, in St. Louis, man. I know you love you're Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Please check out Logos, Sadako ile Mil Gru de Carta. It's just one of those albums that just like touches you, like in a way you didn't know you. Yeah, I knew nothing about this story or anything like it, so it wasn't really anything personal to me, but man, oh man, it moved me. It affected me. The musical climaxes are just brilliant. Yeah, Luca's voice just tearing it up left and right, man. It's incredible for a band that loses, for all intents and purposes, they lose their guitar player. I guess their old guitar player plays on like one song, the big 25-minute epic that ends the thing, but the rest of the tracks he's not on it, man. So you got the dude that plays bass, he's playing the drums or the bass and the guitars also. But oh man, I cannot begin to tell you how much I love Logos. Such a great band. Fabio Gaspari, I'm sorry, that's the dude that's playing both bass and guitar on most of the album. Besides Luca on the stream right now, just amazing. He plays keyboards also. Luca plays keyboards. You have Claudio Antolini. And then you have on drums, Alessandro Perbolini. And then their old guitar player, Massimo Maoli, he plays on one track. And then they have a guest singer whose name I didn't write down. Singing on one song. But yeah, Logos, just incredible. My highest recommendation for me, the best modern Italian prog album I've ever heard. But there's one I'm reviewing next week that's gonna give it a real tough battle. Really excited about the new Il Bacio della Medusa. So time will decide which one ultimately is better, but it's very cool that we've got Logos in the house. So being the prog guy, people ask all the time, what's been your favorite album of the year so far? And it's been kind of hard because honestly, the Chronicles of Father Robin is kind of difficult for people to get a hold of the entire thing right now. So until Charisma releases all three of those, one after the other, starting with book one, but in 2 weeks, I think, my top two, oddly enough, my top three probably all are Norwegian. It's just been a fantastic year for Norway. I just love the Chronicles of Father Robin so much because I am just a huge Wobbler guy. So yeah, the Lars Fredrik Frøsli album deserves to be mentioned as one of the great releases of 2023. Fire for Tellinger, just incredible. 4 songs. Each of these circles tells this little pictorial story of what the song's about. Just incredible. Love it a lot. But honestly, outside of that, triple album box set from the Chronicles, my favorite album of the year has been this one right here. Seven and Pale Summit. Just incredible. I think it's right up there in Prog Archives. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's number 1 or something. But I just seen that IO Earth dropped a new album. So I checked it out. Very cool neo prog from the UK. Just listened to that last night. Okay, we're talking about Marillion here in the comments. Well, I'm big Brave guy, big Marbles guy, but Fear and the latest one are both amazing too. So honestly, H is now at the point where he could say he has five or four masterpieces as the lead singer of Marillion, the exact same number that Fish had, right? It just took him a few more albums to get there. But yeah, I think H is just incredible. And the more you go back and listen to some of those older records, like, Holidays in Eden, or, stuff like that just really Marillion.com, that maybe the first time around you didn't love, but now you go back and you listen to it, and it's like, you know what? Every one of these albums actually has something worth listening to. Every single one of them. Tiger Moth Tales. That's a new one. Storytellers Part 1. No, I have not heard anything off of that. I don't think if that just came out recently, then no, I have not heard it. That's a great Pete Jones from Camel and Cyan and whatever else he's involved in. Just an incredible, talented singer, keyboard player, multi-instrumentalist, just incredible. Burger Show wants to know my thoughts on Tool. Well, when Tool first hit the scene, I was buying their CDs, and I just kept waiting for them to click. And I think it was at a time when I just was not ready yet. Pretty much all through the 80s and 90s, I kept checking in with bands. I'd be hearing about bands that were supposedly progressive because of my progressive past. I would always go and check out these bands whenever I heard someone comparing them to a band that I love from the 70s. Of course, with Tool, they were always compared to King Crimson. And then I was hearing about, some other bands like the Flower Kings that were likened to, Genesis, or Spock's Beard likened to Yes, or whatever. And I'd go listen to them, or Glass Hammer and stuff. I guess I just wasn't ready because I didn't like any of it, really. I didn't hate any of it. That sounded fine. Even though to compare Tool to Glass Hammer is maybe a little unfair in terms of, how closely we're cleaving to the original source material. But, the thought process here is that I wasn't ready for anything progressive really until Transatlantic hit the scene. And that's when I was able at that point to go back and listen to Tool and Dream Theater and even H era Marillion that I had dismissed because I didn't like any of it. I listened to the first two, but Seasons Change and Holidays in Eden, I was like, nope. No, I guess I'm done with Marillion. And I didn't hear Brave or Marbles or anything until around the time Transatlantic hit, and then I went back and listened to some of that stuff. But I ended up liking all of it, and it was like Saul on the road to Damascus. I guess the scales had fallen from my ears, and why not? This is a Sunday prog stream. So, the whole idea behind this whole thing is that, you guys can go worship in any way you want. And I don't mean that in any kind of a smug way. I'm not judging anybody, their belief system, or their lack thereof, man. That's the beauty of this world. You should be allowed to believe whatever you want and pray and worship or not pray and worship, however you want, in your chosen arena of battle, a spiritual battle, if you will. And then you can, fight the crowds at Cracker Barrel and the Golden Corral. And then you can come here and sit down with the Sunday service of Prague. And, I will be your pastor, if you will, in the great quest, the musical quest. The spiritual quest is something completely different. We're on a different kind of quest here. But as all of you know, they are connected. There's really no difference at all. your state of consciousness is what it is. And, I believe in Prog and the Prog Corner. Yeah, I do too, man. Strawberry Brick's Guide to Progressive Rock. That's a great, great publication. I love it. And there are some really, really good books out there. A lot of great resources out there. There's people that ask me all the time, man, where do you hear all this music? And I'm like, it's really all out there. It's just a little bit more difficult for whatever genre you are a fan of. You actually got to do a little bit more work now than you did back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where you could listen to stuff on the radio and you pretty much didn't have a whole bunch of choice. But now with the ultra siloed and super subgenreing, subredditing of the music industry, that if you're into extremely dark black death gypsy metal from Bulgaria, there's probably 1,500 bands that will fit that search criteria. So Sean is he's warning me that if I'm not careful, we're going to start a cult here. And that is, that's the whole thing. The only difference with this cult is that there is no barrier to admission. Nobody's taking your money at the front door, nor will we be asking for your credit card number at the back door. That's a very cynical take, and I don't mean to go there, because as a believer, we are all allowed to believe that which we believe. And I don't get into that here on the Prog Corner, and you guys know that. I try to leave the politics alone. I try to leave the religion and stuff alone. It can be divisive, and music can be divisive too, but in a different way. I don't think anybody's going to be wanting to slice my throat if they disagree with me that I don't think Tales from Topographic Ocean should be cut to a single album, but there's a whole bunch of people out there who'd prefer it that way. Just because they're wrong doesn't mean they deserve to have their heads chopped off. Mike Reese is saying that, hey, Goran's here. I didn't think he'd make it. Goran is, what an amazing resource. We were talking about, hey, where do you find out about a lot of this stuff? And Goran is a reason, one of my main resources. He really is. Fantastic Instagram page. You should check him out. The Dawn of the New Prog. What are you even called, man? I hate your name there. I can never remember it. Let's go on to the Instagram. See, New Dawn of Prog. Yeah, New Dawn of Prog. Check it out. Great reviews. Really good. Hey, Mark Osborne's got to go. Hey, this will be up to watch. We will keep this as a video on demand, VOD, for those of you in the business. Yeah. Yeah, The Lamb could have been a triple album. Yeah, it could have been, and I'd be all for it. The great albums you really do want more and more of. And Manuel is talking about how he's a non-believer, but he loves Neil Morrison. It is a Sunday, so I'm gonna pontificate just a little bit to those of you who may be listening to this and have a problem with Neil Morris and his religious experiences and his conversion to Christianity. The story we all know, he quit Spock's Beard, he quit Transatlantic, he went all in with Christianity, he prayed about it, and decided he would continue on with a solo career, doing albums that oftentimes reflected some of that, starting with Testimony from 2003, one from 2004, Sola Scriptura, Question Mark, Testimony 2, Lifeline, Momentum. If you're missing out on those albums because there's Christian elements to it, then you're just totally missing out, man. It's like saying, I don't want to listen to Slayer or Iron Maiden because there's a devil or there's something on the album cover. It's ridiculous. I couldn't care less about what the actual specific subject matter is. What I do care about is honesty and sincerity. That's why love songs bug the living heck out of me. Yeah, you might have meant it when you wrote it, if assuming you wrote it in the first place, right? Let's say you wrote this love song to some chick, right? And so you sing it a whole bunch while you're writing it. Then you sing it a whole bunch when you're showing it to your band and you rehearse it. Then you do it a whole bunch in the studio, and then you do a music video. So you're doing it a million times. Then you go on tour, it's a hit, so you got to do it 100 times. And so by the time you see him on the tour stop in Tulsa, Oklahoma, this is the 1,824th time this guy sung the song in the last 8.5 months. How sincere do you think he is? No, come on, man, forget about it. It's all about sincerity. And when Neil's singing, he's singing from the heart. I love Venom. I don't care, man, as long as you're singing what you really believe. It's why I don't like Springsteen's later albums. I don't want to hear a millionaire tell me the struggles of the working man. Give me a break, dog. Nuh-uh. No, sorry, no. Yeah. No, you lose me with that one. My thoughts on The Who's Tommy. I was actually thinking about doing an episode, Tommy versus Quadrophenia, because honestly, I love those two albums so much. And I like pretty much nothing else by The Who. I really don't, man. Who's next? The Who Sell Out, The Who by Numbers. It's all right, but man, oh man, I'm sorry. Tommy and Quadrophenia are both absolutely perfect in every way, man. Just perfect. Norwegian Prog brought me back in, says Dennis Lynn. Airbag, great band. Bjorn Reese, his outfit, just incredible. The Who Sell Out is great. I'm sure a lot of it is, but to me, it's just Tommy and Quadrophenia are just on such a whole other level. Sean says The Who are no Kinks. Well, the Kinks had some great moments too, obviously. But we're talking about how Norwegian Prog brought Dennis back in, sucked him back in, and I totally understand that because, in a large way, after I heard Transatlantic, I really fell in love with them. Yes, Foxbeard and Dream Theater and Marillion. I certainly went back and spent a lot of time with them, but it was also the Flower Kings, and they were kind of good for having all these different spin-off bands and all these other things going on. So, it's an awesome time to be a prog fan, because if you find one band like the Flower Kings, then you can from there branch off into the Tangent or Car Mechanic or any of the other side projects or any of the other things going on. So it's pretty awesome. And in that way, prog is kind of becoming like jazz was back in the late 50s, early 60s, where, jazz musicians weren't just like locked into one band. They were playing with different cats all the time. It's a good thing I brought another Mountain Dew. Looks like one is certainly not going to be enough. Yeah, Live at Leeds is good. I grew up with Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy, as kind of like the cover catch-all for the early stuff. It wasn't until years and years later that I went back and actually listened to the first 3 Who albums all the way through. So I'm no Who expert, man. I'm the guy that likes the jam, though. So, yeah. Tommy's Live included at Live at Leeds. Pretty great stuff. Yeah, Live at Leeds was great. Yeah, one of the better live albums of all time. I did my favorite prog live albums. I should probably do my favorite non-prog live albums, and that'd be a lot of fun because I got some that come to mind right away. Records I've never talked about, because I don't really talk about live albums a whole lot. So that would be awesome. Yeah. And then, we've got all kinds of stuff planned for you guys next week. I'm going to get some advice here while I have you here with me. I'm working on an episode right now. Albums that that you have had a change of heart about, specifically ones that you used to hate and now you love. And then we can flip that script at a later time. If you know how I am, if the numbers are good, we'll flip the script. Peter Jones, no prog without jazz. Goran, I can't wait for the new Yorzio album either. All media reviews of seeing Andy Summers this week. Oh yeah, I'm sure he does mostly Police stuff, and that's fantastic. I love all 5 Police albums, and a big reason why is Andy Summers. I mean, obviously he's got a prog background, Soft Machine, all that, but when the Police were coming out, that was the exact time I was, trying to get my bands together. And, we were learning a lot of, learning a lot of cover songs and playing, the songs of the day, and Message in a Bottle was always one. It didn't matter what kind of gig you were playing. People would always want to hear that. So, I figured, it's just a simple arpeggiated pattern, just 4 chords, I could finger pick that, no problem. That sounds easy. Man, that thing wasn't easy at all. It took me like 2 weeks of practicing it 4 hours a day every day to get it presentable live. And it was at that exact moment that I realized Andy Summers is just a bad boy, man. Bad boy. I like the idea of a non-prog ranking show. Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to go. I have nothing against Love Beach. Yeah, I do. It's terrible, man. The Police and XTC, just so great. The last truly great prog bands, well, probably if you look at the continuum where the timing of when they came out and when progs fall, it's not really, to me, it just seemed real logical that as some of my favorite bands were starting to run out of steam and lose momentum, either because of fame and fortune, or just the idea that you only have X number of good songs in you, whatever it might have been, they all seem to be suffering from the same disease at the same time. And it was just the perfect time for a whole new batch of bands like the Jam and the Stranglers and XTC and Talking Heads to come along and steal my heart, and they most absolutely did. Matt Fafner, another absolutely poignant and pithy comment. It's absolutely right. It's Big Train. I guess they're working on their new album with their new singer, Alberto Brevin, but they have been touring. I have been getting reports from various parts of the world. I had somebody check in from Norway the other night. I had somebody check in after the show in Copenhagen the other night. I guess, did they play Italy last night, or I don't know, but they're all over the place playing, some of these places for the very first time. And you guys have been awesome and keeping me up to date. In fact, I even got a video from right after the show in Oslo the other night. The opening act, Dim Gray, sent me a video of them giving me a greetings, salutations, respect, and love. That was pretty cool. So that kind of made my night there. Mike Pierce, I find it hard to reconcile my love for easier to listen to prog, Kansas Genesis, etc., and harder stuff like Crimson. It's almost like, it's difficult to reconcile, because prog has got, the stereotype prog, right? The guy with the cape and, the sequin cape with the 18,000 keyboards. And, you get this picture in your head and the sound that kind of goes along with that. And then the reality is that prog is this whole big giant thing. There's so many different components to it that, Magma doesn't sound anything like King Crimson, which doesn't sound anything like Yes, which doesn't sound anything like, Gentle Giant at all. And that's the cool part about it. I'm not a big Zool guy, so there are elements of the prog, over that I am just not a fan of, and Zool is definitely one. I'm working on it. I'm trying. I keep listening. hopefully one day I will be able to get into some of that stuff more. But yeah, No Spoon puts out a physical copy of their debut opus. I didn't know it was not available. I know Andy Tillison's on it. And that's pretty cool, man. If you think about it, that's pretty modern sounding, right? That's like prog metal. That's like crazy to have Andy Tillison playing on that. One of the YouTube channels has Nectar, Remember the Future, as a US quad pressing. Yeah, I've heard they did a quad pressing. Yes. So, yep. I'm reading all these comments, and you guys are obviously the absolute best subscriber base on YouTube. Like I said, we had that nice big spike last week after we did the Sea of Tranquility. It was just amazing. We got like an extra 200 subscribers that we probably wouldn't have gotten as a result. So, that was nice. We're working on a couple other things, and it's going to be really, really big. Oh, yeah. How do you like that, man? Apparently, there's a whole series of these things, man. I need to get onto Discogs and get them all. Just so cool. The Kojak vinyl. Apparently there's like a Superman and a Spider-Man. I don't know if they got like a Barnaby Jones and a cannon. I want them all. They're cool. It comes with like a little comic book also in there instead of a lyric sheet. Just cool. Awesome stuff. But where do you find the time to listen and record? I am lucky that at work, I do drive a lot. I'm a outside sales rep, so I go and visit people. I go here, I go there, and luckily, I can listen to music. I'm way out in the country, so a lot of times the stops are, like 20, 30 minutes between stops. So it's perfect for a prog lover, because you know how it is. You're going to be sitting in that parking lot for the next 20 minutes if I can't turn this thing off halfway through. Columbo, the Prog Opera. For my non-American viewers, Kojak. Oh yeah, this was an American crime television show starring the great actor Telly Savalas, who made Bald beautiful back in the 70s, and most famous for having a sucker hanging out his mouth, and his catchphrase was, "Who loves you, baby?" Oh yeah, great stuff. But I knew there'd be some of my international people that would not necessarily understand the Kojak reference. And yes, you are late, Semi Siren 311. It's okay though. That's all right. Better late than never. And like I said, this is going to be VOD. So, once it's over, you can go back and, watch it right from the beginning. Yeah, exactly, Globus. That's the whole idea. So it works out really well, right? That, I have a lot of Amish customers. So I go from like one Amish farm to another, whatever. It's just crazy. But so it does work out well. So I'm able to listen to a lot of music. And then I try to prep, in my head, like all the time. I'm always thinking about stuff. And, the actual shooting of the videos, besides, the live stream, going a little long here already at 78 minutes. But I don't usually shoot that long episodes. They're usually between 8 and 18 minutes. So a lot of times I can just do it on my lunch break. I can do it, real fast after work or before work or whatever. That's the easy part. The shooting is actually the easy part to me. The hard part is the preparation. And, that actually takes a long, long time. For example, I just did, the World Prog Poland was next up. That was awesome. But honestly, I've been listening to a pretty steady diet of Polish prog for the last 4 to 6 months because, it's probably not a subject I'm going to revisit again. So it's evergreen content. I kind of want to get it right. I kind of don't want to make too many mistakes or have like a huge, like, oh no, I totally forgot that band. They totally should have been there. It always happens anyway. But, we try. Wayne wants to know if I have a favorite NFL team. And, look, the reason why I am still able to watch NFL versus college, where my fandom for the University of Miami Hurricanes basically almost destroyed me. And the reason I like the NFL better now is because I never had like one team. I was born in Pittsburgh, so I always liked the Steelers. I was raised outside of Milwaukee, so it was always the Packers. And then we moved down, to Florida back in the 70s, so it was the Dolphins. So I always had multiple teams that I was a fan of. And, now I'm here in Ohio, so you can add the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns to that. No, not the Browns. You can add the Cincinnati Bengals to that. Why not? Why not? Call me a Bengals fan now. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm saying Joe Burrow is going to bring us a Lombardi trophy. Maybe not this year, but within the next 3 years. How about that? Ed's talking about Rare Bird and Gypsy. Definitely two bands that don't get a lot of attention, and especially Gypsy. It was kind of like a one and done. Rare Bird, though, they had a lot of great stuff. But so the hardest thing in the world is, getting prepared for, an episode like that. Madri Effect. I love those guys. They're not from Poland, though, right? They're like, what are they? Slovenia, Slovakia. I don't know where they're from, but man, they're awesome. Love that band. Really, really good. Matt's from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I only lived in Pittsburgh for a year while my dad was finishing up his PhD at Carnegie Mellon, Carnegie Tech, whatever they call it now. Carmen's 3 albums are totally ignored. Do I have? Oh, funny. I had a Carmen album showing, and I took it down at the last minute. I put the Kojak album up. Here we go. It's that time in the stream where, we're getting close to the end, boys and girls. And, that tip jar, the collection jar, we're going to leave it out. We're not going to pass that around. This is a different kind of congregation. Oh, yeah. There we go. Got to keep your boy, good and healthy with Duke. But anyway, this was our inaugural Sunday Prog stream. I'm very curious to know if anybody has a better idea for what we could possibly call it, because, maybe it's not the catchiest thing in the world the more I think about it. But so let me know if you can come up with a better name. Until then, we're going to stay with it. So far, looking at the number of eyeballs we've had during this stream, it's been pretty good, better than the last live stream, which, probably makes a whole lot of sense since, I did kind of put it out that, we were doing it today instead of just like, making it a big old surprise. But I think sometimes that, those work the best, just that random, certain amount of randomness to it. It is the Church of Prog for sure. That's what we're doing here, because music is indeed the language of heaven. It is absolutely, everyone understands it. It has a way of moving people that no other medium has. So yeah, it's Prog Mass Sunday. Sundays with Scott, not bad. That's not bad. Prog Day, Sunday prognostications. That's pretty good. Scott's Church of the Prog. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, we'll figure it out. In the meantime, we'll just roll with it as it is. And, looking at the numbers, Bayou Maccabees in the house. I didn't give him a shout out, but I read one of his Rodney Matthews album cover ranking. That's good. I mean, Naomi from 365 Days of Prog just did Roger Dean. I should do Rodney Matthews, right? Because, man, he's got some amazing album covers, that is for sure. Progorama, not bad. That'll work. But, Yeah, so we're going to keep these things going. And like I said, going forward, I am hoping that we can, maybe get some guests up on here. You know, anybody that wants to, debate me about, whatever. But Scott's Sphere of Prog, that's not bad, Wayne. Paul Whitehead for sure. Hugh Syme, Storm. Yeah. Yeah, you're naming all the heavy hitters. Yeah, I did a ranking the album covers, but that would be cool. Like, kind of doing what like Naomi did, but just maybe doing a top 10. Because something tells me that Naomi's episode on Roger Dean took her a little bit longer to put an episode together than I'd be willing to. I do have a certain cadence. I like to do like 2 or 3 videos every week. Maybe an occasional short or whatever, but we are definitely going to be here every Sunday, and until we don't want to be. We'll see about competition going forward. If the great Doug over there at the Daily Doug has really hurt us or not, but in the meantime. Yeah, Matt's off to do some yard work, and it's probably that one right there. What's the one with the dude? Yeah, this is Coven. Yeah, this is, I think, their 3rd album, I think. Blood on the Snow. They had that big hit, 110 Soldier. Kind of cool, proto prog, I guess. Maybe a little pre-gothic, I don't know, a little bit of a Satan worshiping going on there on the lyrical side, just to try to get people interested. But they were pretty safe and saccharine stuff. But I love that stuff. And that's just a cool album cover. And I actually found that at a flea market for like $12, I think. So yeah, I couldn't pass it up. The corner office. Huh? That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, stream like the Sunday. Stream like the Sunday. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but it's gonna be ongoing, so people can mark their calendars, so they can feel like they have a nice safe space to go, where they can talk about prog with all their friends. And the Logos logo is here. We had Luca earlier. Now we've got the Logos corporate logo here. Yeah, my friends. Again, I'm gonna do it again one more time, because this is an album that just absolutely needs to be. It just needs to be talked about some more. It's a Daco y de Mil Gru de Carta. Yeah, man, this thing right here. The story is this girl in Hiroshima. The bomb drops, and she gets sick with radiation poisoning, and there is a old wives' tale in Japan that if you made 1,000 paper cranes and the origami style reflected on the album cover, that it would help facilitate her recovery. Apparently she got to like 400 or 500 or something, and sadly she passed away, I think in like 1951 or something. But the story is told here, and just bone-chilling detail by Logos. My favorite Italian album of the 21st century. And you guys know how much I love my Italian prog, so I don't say that lightly. But this album just, it gets me in a very special place. And I just wanted to give some love out to it. And I had no idea that, the boys in the band, that Luca would be on. And I don't know who's on right now, but, it could be Fabio. I don't know who's on the stream right now, but very cool. Just an amazing album. But as I've been teasing all day, the new Il Bacio della Medusa, I'm going to be reviewing that, and oh man, that one is just incredible. So we're going to be trying to spend a little bit more time talking about, we're going to lean into what we do and what we do best, which is, let's face it, it's Italian prog. It's Norwegian prog, like, charisma record stuff. It's Swedish and American and UK kind of retro-y prog, the inside out music stuff. That we're just going to lean into who we are, and I'm not worried too much about trying to catch what's big or hot, or the prog metal stuff will get you a lot more views. It'll get you a lot younger audience. Hey, I reviewed the new Riverside. I reviewed the new Haken. I'm not 100% a get off your lawn kind of guy, but let's face it, we like the sounds that we like, and you are welcome, Logos. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, J Thomas 55 is from Columbus. We're about an hour apart, my friend. I was in Columbus yesterday, and we had a good time. The wife and I. We hang out. There's nothing to do in our small town. So if we want to, go out and have, a decent meal, or, go to a Target or something, there's no Target within a 50-mile radius of us. So we got to go to either to Columbus or Dayton, and usually Columbus. But over this weekend, the Guided by Voices 40th anniversary celebration took place. Apparently, what was it? Friday night, they had Dinosaur Jr., and Saturday night, they had Built to Spill playing with them. And I sure would have liked to have been there for the Built to Spill festivities. Big fan. I've seen Dino Jr. already. Really, really good. I love those guys. But so just knowing that a little piece of, music history was transpiring about an hour away from my house over the weekend. Yeah. Did you get to shake hands with any of Hey, I wasn't there, man. I've met Pollard quite a few times. But yeah, I didn't get down there. No bueno, man. It's not good. Didn't get on the Robert Pollard guest list. So yeah, home I stayed at home, me and the wife. But we were thinking about Guided by Voices all weekend. It is a holiday weekend. Tomorrow is Labor Day for those of you in the United States. And I guess even the Canadians, you guys celebrate it too. So I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Probably no content. Probably no content tomorrow. We're probably going to be doing our little something that I was talking about earlier. Change of heart albums that I used to hate, but now that I love. Yeah. So that's coming up next week. El Bacio della Medusa is coming up next week. And then it is my birthday Thursday. Yes, it is. Can you believe that? Your boy turns what? Your boy turns 61 on Thursday. So I do have a special package from Norway that my wife didn't want me to see. But obviously I knew what it was because I told her what I wanted for my birthday. And I'm like, yeah, that Chronicles of Father Robin box set. Yeah, that might be nice for my birthday because there's no way I could have justified spending that much on my own. I'm not a rich guy, man. I'm not Donald J. She's not Melania. So I think I got a little unboxing video we're going to be doing, having a little fun with that, opening up the ostensibly it's the Chronicles of Father Robin on vinyl. We shall see. So I'll be doing an unboxing video of that. And then hopefully in the next week or so after that, we'll get Andreas from Wobbler and the Chronicles of Father Robin up here. And I'm just going to close it out again by saying Prog Radio, man. Prog Radio is pretty awesome. We're going to get him on. He's cool. It's a fantastic thing he's got going on there. I listen to it all the time. In fact, if I don't know, if I'm not working on an album review specifically, and I just don't, just surprise me, turn it on Prog Radio, and I'm always happy with the result there. Very cool. Anyway, I think this was a success. We're in the 95th minute here, and I kept you guys here. White Willow, fantastic. So who knows? We might get that dude on and do an interview with him, Jacob. But anyway, Father Robin, man, how many times have you spun that drill? I've spun the Father Robin. I haven't spun it literally. I'm just the digital files, but I probably listened to it 60 times all the way through, probably. Just amazing. And that's the problem. An album that good really does kind of squeeze some of the listening time I have for some other albums, because it just keeps, sucking me in, pulling me under. I can't get enough of it. But anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. We are definitely doing this again. I'm watching the numbers nonstop here, and they've been good. So you know how I am about that kind of thing. So I will be listening to suggestions. Let me know in the comments how we can, sharpen this thing up, make it a little pithier, make it a little bit better, make it, a little bit more interesting. So maybe someday we can take on the giants like the Daily Doug. We don't have to worry about whether, somebody like him is doing a live stream at the exact same time I scheduled one, over a week ago. But that's okay. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East, free Tibet, and God save the king. You just save that king. Save him. He needs saving. Save him right now. Do it.